This is the point of foster care, right, is to be a safe, loving home, try to transition them back to their families if possible. Are we going to be the loving homes that they deserve, despite the fact that it could really hurt? And it's hurt a lot of times, but these kids deserve it.
Around 1,600 children are in Idaho's foster care system today. Over the past year, the state hasn't been able to find homes for dozens of them, the majority being teens, mostly because there simply aren't enough foster families. 7 Investigates' Morgan Romero explains how the Department of Health and Welfare had to quickly find a way to house these kids.
It truly does take a village to figure this out and do this.
Parenthood requires care and love, not DNA. The Monteiths know how true that is.
We never saw this happening.
But they saw they could be a safe, loving home for kids when they needed one most.
We are here to be a placeholder. You know, we're here to be a safe home for these kids while they transition back into their homes.
Over the past 3 years, 7 foster kids have come through Tonisha and Joshua Monteith's home.
Our goal was to just help kids and help families.
But they ended up adopting this cutie when he was a baby.
You're okay.
And are in the process of adopting another.
We felt like, wow, there's children right here in Boise, Idaho, right now who need homes, and we have a home.
It hasn't been easy, and at times it gets messy.
It's not just figuring out how to parent your kids, it's figuring out how to parent traumatized kids and kids who have been through all sorts of abuse and who carry a lot of baggage. It's helping them work through that baggage. The emotional roller coaster is tough, and it is one.
Tonisha thinks fear keeps more people from becoming foster parents.
A lot of people let fear get in the way of helping.
But that help is critical right now, as the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare juggles more kids in the system than they can place with families.
We're seeing a lot more now, especially this fall.
Cameron Gilliland, Administrator of Family and Community Services, points to multiple reasons why. The most obvious, growth and more people moving in. With the start of the school year, kids have more eyes on them, meaning more people who report abuse and neglect, increased drug and alcohol abuse, and more stress on families fueled by the pandemic. And social workers weren't getting into homes early to catch problems.
The seriousness of the calls have gone up, and that may be a reflection of the pandemic in that people are waiting longer, or the issue is lasting longer before somebody sees it, and then it's a bigger issue.
But the main reason? People aren't signing up to foster. Recruitment mostly happens through events and gatherings paused during the pandemic.
We've been really stymied in our recruitment.
There are nearly 1,600 Idaho kids in foster care right now and about 1,200 licensed foster homes. Without enough families, like the Monteiths, to take them all in, the state had to find a way to house dozens of kids with nowhere to go. They did something unprecedented.
As we started to have more kids, we moved to short-term rentals because you know, a home environment is just better. Over the past year, we've had about 50 children that we have had we didn't have a place for them, and so sometimes we've had to keep them in the office overnight, and other times we've gone to hotels and short-term rentals.
Health and Welfare is running 2 short-term rentals in the Treasure Valley, where around 5 kids at a time live for multiple days.
Most of them are there in that situation for 10 or less days, although we have some that have been a little longer. And most of them are teenagers. Teenagers are harder to place than younger kids.
These rentals and 24/7 staff cost the state around $100,000 this year. Gilliland says that's more than they'd pay foster parents to care for the kids. To help out, Health and Welfare even asked current foster families to take shifts at these houses and hang out with teens.
They know what they're doing because they're foster parents.
Tonisha being one of them.
And I had an amazing time. It was a completely normal day. It's just that you look at it and go like, that's not normal. And so it's really devastating because they know it.
While short-term rentals are the short-term option, the real solution is more foster families, especially those willing to take older kids with greater needs.
So it's really an opportunity for a family to have a tremendous impact on somebody's life.
These kids need help. They're desperate for somebody to just say like, hey, I care about you.
Remembering parenthood requires care and love, not DNA. Morgan Romero, Idaho's News Channel 7.
And Morgan learned Health and Welfare stepped up recruitment efforts this fall, and it will hold a class on recruitment for foster parents in December. The department also plans to ask the state legislature for more money this year as Idaho and the cost of living grow. Health and Welfare wants to raise the reimbursement to families by hundreds of dollars a month. And it's also asking to bump up the incentive for foster families to recruit new ones, especially those willing to take teenagers. If you want to become a foster parent, head to this story on our website, ktvb.com.